Sampling music. It's something that a lot of artists do to create their albums, and it's something that they do to get a variety of sound when they create their music. And it's also something that goes unnoticed by the vast majority of listeners. Basically, when a band or artist hears a section of a song that they like, they lift it from that song after they've got permission off whoever owns the copyright, and then put it into one of their own songs. They tend to alter the way it sounds slightly. For example, play it on a different instrument or at a different tempo. But overall, it tends to sound the same, and once pointed out it becomes obvious that it's borrowed from somewhere else. What's more, it's not just other bands sampling other bands or artists. Some musicians tend to sample themselves. For example, did you know that Without Me by Eminem was sampled in Berserk by Eminem? Did you know that Whole Lotta Love by Led Zeppelin was sampled in Voodoo People by The Prodigy? Or that Funky Drummer by James Brown was sampled in Let Me Ride by Dr. Dre? No, neither did I. The issue of sampling was first brought to my attention when What You Say by Jason Derulo was released and on the radio every day for about a month, and I realised how much of the song I recognised because it was part of other people's songs, which then made me think about what I would do if it was my song being put into someone else's song and if I would be okay with it. In order to get more of an insight into this, I spoke to a music producer who had worked with artists who have used sampling and is currently working with a band who are using a sample of Bruce Lee's speech in an interview in one of their songs. Ed Heaton is a producer who works at Eager Studios in Leeds, and he was more than happy about the idea of sample music.
I mean, I think music is, it's international. It's that way of doing things has given birth to, so much good music, hip hop obviously, and dance music. I think what it allows us to do as well is celebrate music that's been, and also help us discover music that we might not have done beforehand.
According to WhoSampled.com, some of the most sampled artists include Kanye West, Daft Punk, Drake and Kendrick Lamar. Despite these all being mainly hip-hop artists, there are also songs and artists in other genres that have used sampling as a way to create their songs. For example, the electronic musician Skrillex has used many samples in his music, which include songs by The Doors and Jim Morrison. I wanted to get a band's perspective on this, so I spoke to the Leeds dance band Golden Teacher about this subject, and they pretty much said that it was the best thing a musician can do.
I'm pretty all for stealing other people's music.
all of our lyrics surely is stolen off of the song.
No, not all.
Not all of them.
Quite
a lot.
It has recently been announced that the most sampled song of all time is Change the Beat by Fab Five Freddy in 1982. It has been sampled in almost 1,300 songs, which includes Thrift Shop by Macklemore and Ryan Lewis, So Far by Eminem, and You Can't Touch This by MC Hammer. It has also been sampled by bands you wouldn't expect, such as Nine Inch Nails and Linkin Park. This shows that sampling and borrowing music does change the sound of a band or artist, and it can crop up in unexpected places. I also spoke to the Leeds band Autobahn about this issue, and here's what they said when I asked them whether sampling music is a good thing or not.
Depends.
If they had their own creative spin on it and make it sound something new, and
yeah, it does. I think it all depends. Depends on who they've sampled and if the artist who the sample got any integrity. So I think any good stuff that's come out of samples is usually from an artist who's it's from a good song, and they've got the integrity to say, yeah, that's a good song. But a lot of the stuff, a lot of stuff which is terrible, I mean, I don't care about that anyway, because it's, if it's getting sampled and someone's letting them sample it, then they're idiots, aren't they? Then their music can't be that great in the long run. If it's a song with a decent sample and it sounds good, then I'm all for it. Yeah.
This is an issue I can't seem to make my mind upon. On the one hand, it's good because it's getting other bands recognised and getting them a bigger fan base. But on the other hand, it seems like a bit of an easy way out. And it seems like a bit of an easy way out because the bands and artists that use samples aren't doing any work. They are just taking some of the music that someone else has written and produced and put it into their own music. And then I've had other issues brought up to me regarding copyright. So for argument's sake, let's just say copyright doesn't exist. Does that make borrowing and sampling other people's work within your own work okay? If you're as unaware of the world of sampling as I was, check out the link to whosampled.com in the bio to this video and see just how many songs have been sampled in other songs. I'll also put a few links to some of the songs that I mentioned in the bio, so you can check them out too and see if you can spot where it has used samples or it has been used as a sample. Do you think sampling and borrowing music is something to be celebrated or something to be looked at in disapproval? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for